Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Corey Walsh podcast, brought to you by The Extended Cut. Today is May the 27th on a Wednesday. Just recorded some NBA stuff with Jeremy Batten. We're talking about the Champions League-esque style playoff format the NBA has in mind and some of the potential winners and losers from that. Also talking about what that just means for the NBA as a whole going on. Also, LeBron or Giannis, who did you have as your MVP? And we also go through NBA first team, second team, and third team, and the most improved team. But first, let's get to Jeremy Batten. All right, so now joining us on the podcast, we have he's been on the podcast before, but it was like 30 episodes ago. Welcome back, Jeremy Batten.
Hey, welcome. I'm happy to be back.
Welcome to your
I feel like I'm the host now.
In such a short time, you've taken over. How's your sportsless life been, Jeremy?
Very boring. I don't really like it. If I could have something like to watch, at least the time would be a lot better. But
it seems like no one realizes that Bundesliga soccer is going on right now.
Oh shit! I forgot to watch that. Right?
Oh god! Actually, I should put that on my DVR.
Yeah, I have a recording. Actually, we're good.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for lying. All right. So the reason we have Jer on, we're going to talk about this new NBA playoff format that I know it's shocking. The NBA has a new playoff format every week. It seems like.
Literally.
But now we're settling on one that, to me at least, sounds the most interesting of the bunch. It is, for those, it's ironic we just talked about Bundesliga soccer because it basically is what the Champions League format is for soccer, where they're going to have group stages and they're going to do 5 groups of 4 teams. But before they did that, they were saying it could either be like a traditional 16-team, 2-conference playoff format with the 7-game series. It seems like they really want to stick to the 7-game series format, Adam Silver said, because like if they didn't, then people would just consider it like a throwaway season. Because like, have you also heard how they wanted maybe do like the 1-game playoff series?
I saw stuff about that. I was not interested in that one at all. That one was not something I want to see because the 7-game or at least 5-game just gets that like more competition. It's not like a one and done sort of thing. We've always seen with the NBA that a playoff series can flop instantly just over like a span of 3 games
or 7.
Yeah, 7 would be like the best one.
You're telling me that the Bucks versus the Magic wasn't going to be decided in 7?
I don't know. I think the Magic could have at least taken them to at least a 5-game series.
There would have been that sneaky Game 4 where the Magic push back and defend their season with honor.
Yep, and then they just get blown out by 30 the next game.
They'll like have Terrence Ross drops 30. Is Terrence Ross diving into the pool of youth? That's what Windhorst will discuss on ESPN. And so as regards for this soccer style approach, they're going to have like pool play basically, a World Cup style format having been presented as an option to league GMs, as Adrian Wojnarowski and Zach Lowe of ESPN have said. Zach Lowe has stated that the league's GM survey included a pool play option that featured somewhere between 16 current playoff teams and the full body of 30 playoff team or of NBA teams, which just sounds absolutely stupid. Teams would be divided into a certain number of groups and face each member of their group the same amount of times. The total number of pool games have not yet been specified. All of these would be branded as playoff games. Based on the final standings within each group, 8 teams would advance out of pool play into a bracket that is meant to mimic the normal postseason structure for the playoffs. And the thing that really intrigued me about this idea that was leaked by the Ringer is that the idea is being also floated with this format that the 4 top tier teams, which would be the Bucks, Lakers, Clippers, and Raptors, would hold a draft to select their opponents in their group stage.
Ooh.
So this would prevent what they believe to be no group of death, which in soccer is like when 4 very good teams are put into the group. Because it's usually that there's like 2 really good teams and then 2 like the champion of the Croatian League and the champion of like, I don't know, China's Republic, which are not good teams.
No.
And this would also allow for non-current playoff teams to get a ticket to maybe get past the first round.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking with this group stage, because like you have teams that are like just on like the brink of an 8th seed that may be able to get pulled up if they're doing a 20 like team seeding wise, and those bottom like 4 teams would be like just random teams that are like below the 8th seed, and that would help out them, like the youth of that team. Because if Memphis was to fall below Portland, because Memphis is the 8th seed, they would still, like, normal playoffs, obviously they wouldn't be in, but with the group stage, Memphis would have a chance to somehow make it past. Like, those Cinderella teams are way more prominent in this group stage idea, I feel like.
Yeah, and just before this podcast is getting recorded, it was brought up that they also are considering the idea that if they did do this format, that they would let the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th seed in the West fight for the 2 spots to be in this group stage format, which, for those who don't know, that would be the Grizzlies, the Blazers, the Pelicans, the Kings, and the Spurs.
Ooh.
That they're going to let fight over it. I'm sorry, Phoenix. Once again, you are no longer in consideration. This must be a real devastating moment for your franchise, seeing as you were a crisp 26-39.
Hey, that's better than normal, I feel like. I mean, they usually have like their first 15 wins right off at the beginning, and then they just lose like 30 in a row.
No, that's the Minnesota Timberwolves.
True.
Like in the beginning of the season, we're who was it? Wiggins and Towns being like, "You guys said we wouldn't be anything. Look at us now." And then ESPN's like, "Maybe we were wrong." And then 2 weeks later, they're like, "Ah, no, we're fine."
Nah, and then they finally made a move and traded Andrew Wiggins away.
Damn, that must have really crushed every Timberwolves fan on the planet. Thanks for Kevin Love, though.
Do you think the Timberwolves will be better now with D'Angelo Russell instead of Wiggins, or do you think they're still going to be just not good?
Well, looking at how they were right before the coronavirus shut down the season, they, in their last 10 games, were 3-7.
Wasn't Towns like in and out of games though?
Yeah, I mean, at the same time,
Him and D'Lo.
That team is just, I don't see many great players on it outside of Russell and Towns.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Gorgie Dang guy. Always have been.
Oh my gosh, that man's a beast.
Did you know that like Gorgie Dang apparently has like some of the most games played in Timberwolves history? He's like 3rd.
Really?
Yeah.
I've not seen that one. So hey, he's loyal.
I would be loyal too. Have you seen the money they're paying Gorgie Dang? It's like $14 million a year, and they can't get rid of him. Every Bleacher Report mock trade is like the Timberwolves unload Gorgie Dang finally.
Yeah, no, I don't know if anyone wants him, to be honest.
Oh man, a center that doesn't belong in the league anymore, that can't shoot. Awesome. Here's our second round pick in 2026.
We'll finally take him from you.
Psych. And then, so what teams do you feel like would benefit from this format the most?
I was thinking, I mean, the top seed teams, I feel like obviously would benefit from it because, I mean, they're not going to have to face, they'll have to face only like 1 or 2 good teams in their, or decent teams in their groups. But I feel like it's more so the bottom like half of the teams that would benefit from it because they have a way better chance to get out of the first round. Like this group stage is basically replacing first round because it goes straight into the second round, which is the same amount of, it's like basically the same. But the group stage would be like the bottom half of those teams are going to not have to play against the number 1 seed for a 7-game series. Like they get to only play them twice as what the group stage format they said it would be, like play each team twice or something like that. Mm-hmm. And you'd play all like the other decent teams, and they'd have a way better chance against them than they would against, let's say, the Bucks, Lakers, Clippers, or Raptors. So I definitely think it's the bottom like half of the teams.
Yeah, I feel like certain teams in the playoff hunt are going to benefit from it that like were on the rise before the coronavirus hit. So I'm basically just talking about the Blazers, Grizzlies, and Pelicans. Because all three, and Sacramento, I'm sorry. I know Sacramento fans are like the saltiest fans on the planet, honestly, about their team. But, because they're going to be like, we were 3-7, or 7-3 in our last 10. Don't forget about us.
I don't have faith in Sacramento. They need to grow like De'Aaron Fox obviously is gonna. I think he's great, and I think Buddy Hield's great too. But they're not consistent enough.
Buddy Hield, who's like apparently so great that his team wants to trade him after they signed him to a mega deal.
Literally, they don't even care about him. They're like, shit, we'll sign you, but then trade you automatically away.
They're like, yeah, buddy, we know you're like one of the most elite 3-point shooters in the league, but you know who we like more? Bogdan. That's who we want.
Bogdan stays.
We want Bogdan, apparently. The worst Bogdanovich of the group.
Literally.
Bojan's pretty good, but have you seen Bogdan?
But going off of the Bogdanovich brothers, one thing that surprised me randomly off the thing is that the Jazz, I thought the Jazz were going to be a lot better than they ended up being.
I mean, they're fine. They're fourth. They're 41-23, but that Mike Conley trade looks so bad on paper.
Yeah, I don't understand. Mike Conley has done nothing for them.
I mean,
I swear he's more
it.
hurt them than anything. Like, if they had just kept Rubio with the team, like with Bogdanovich, I swear they'd be way better. Like, they'd be like doing way better than with Conley. I don't know why Conley just doesn't mesh with them.
Tell me who you'd rather have in a 7-game series, LeBron James or playoff Rubio. Let that stay where it is. That's all I'm saying.
I don't even have to answer that one. You already know my answer.
Anyone who doubts this opinion, go to the Extended Cuts Twitter page and challenge it, because that's false.
True.
I feel like teams like I was saying, the Grizzlies, Blazers, and Pelicans, and Kings, I guess, have upward momentum.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
And honestly, though, the Grizzlies, like, I feel like they were just about to hit their apex. Like, they were done as soon as coronavirus hit. Like, I think their skid was officially about to start. Because they went on that insane tear of games where, like, you know, ESPN freaks out once a team has won, like, 9 games. And then they're like, watch out for Memphis!
Yeah, no, I don't see them. Like, they're not an old enough. Like, they don't have the veteran anymore. Like, they have Jonas Valanciunas, I guess, who's their, like, big veteran. But I mean, he was playing well. I just don't see them. If it was the regular playoffs, if they kept that 8th seed, there's no way they would have done anything against the Lakers. Lakers would have just absolutely destroyed them. Anyone, really. I just don't think they have that chip to be able to push hard into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's great that you just said that, because I thought another team that benefits most from this new playoff format idea would be the veteran savvy teams, like those who have all veteran leadership. And the team that really stood out to me that I think could make like a huge push based off this format is the OKC Thunder, because what team has more veterans that it knows what to do with than this OKC team?
You already know I have full faith that the Thunder would at least make it to the conference finals. Let's be honest.
I'm trying to be.
No, I agree with you though. I think veteran teams definitely are, like, they have a lot of experience with, like, Chris Paul obviously has never made it past Western Conference Finals, but I think that he has been playing out of his mind this season. Like, he's proving people a lot. Like, and Shai, I think, might be the one who's benefiting the most from Chris Paul. He's learning a lot from him, and I've seen way more growth in Shai than anyone else on the team.
Not Schroeder.
No.
He's a potential 6th man of the year. He is leading the race, apparently.
I mean, I swear he's been up there. It was so overshadowed when Russ was there. It was
the bread.
He had no chance of getting anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is honestly, I want to talk about it a little later. Spoiler alert. But Chris Paul, I think, is having one of his most impressive seasons he's ever had. It might not be statistically impressive, but impact-wise, extremely impressive.
100%, I agree with that.
For those who can't realize, Jeremy is a OKC fan who lives in Durham, New Hampshire. You do the math. So funny enough to talk about Russell Westbrook. The Houston Rockets I think are the team that would benefit the most from this format, because the NBA cannot seem to figure out their small ball lineup, and this would only play to their advantage, I think, as it seems that teams who have Rudy Gobert on them or Hassan Whiteside cannot seem to realize that they can reach over every player attempting to get a rebound from them.
Yep.
and instead are idiots and they keep their center in who gets dragged out to the 3-point line to guard PJ Tucker.
Literally, I mean, I can definitely see that. Rockets not having to play one team specifically for 7 games would definitely be beneficial for them. Like only playing just playing everyone, no one would really fully catch on and be able to make too many adjustments on them quickly. They only have 2 games to play against them. So yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, I think in a 7-game series, the Rockets' flaws would become very apparent very quickly.
Oh yeah.
I think a team would be smart enough to be like, either we keep our center in and just have him actually stay at the rim, or we play small ball as well, and then we don't have to get caught in these awkward transitions.
Yeah.
But, the Jazz probably wouldn't figure it out.
No.
They'd be like, what if we put Mike Conley at center? That's why we traded for him.
Yeah, that's where he's going to flourish.
Big man Mike.
Yeah, I just don't think I have a problem with the Rockets is, yes, they have James Harden, Russ, and they have good defenders, but the hype is just like if you go against a team like the Lakers, or even if they had to go against the Bucks, you throw Giannis at center and the game's over. You just play small ball with Giannis at center, and it's like, or even just running it like just a team with a good center like the Lakers with AD. The Rockets would get absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, teams who have basically abandoned the traditional center would do fine, I think, against the Rockets. Like you said, like the Bucks have Giannis, the Lakers have Anthony Davis, the Raptors could throw Siakam on them.
Yep.
And the Sacramento Kings could put Harry Giles.
Oh, game over. No, Rockets have no chance.
No, this is where the Kings fans would be like, this is where Bagley will be showing he's better than Luka.
Oh, my gosh.
The amount of Kings hate on this podcast is going to be incredible.
Oh, yeah. I don't understand how I wasn't on the Luka bandwagon when he first came in.
Unlike some people.
Back to the other podcast. But I still don't think I didn't even put Marvin Bagley above him because I just couldn't see him translating. Like, he still hasn't really shown anything in the NBA.
He's like, Durant 2.0.
Yeah, I like him, but I just don't. I don't think he's gonna end up being anything more than a role player.
That would devastate the Kings fans. Our big 3, we got Bogdan. De'Aaron Fox.
Hey, Bogdan can lead him to a championship.
And whatever we package Bagley and Buddy Hield for, which knowing us, it will be Bojan. So we can have the brothers.
And they'll get Mike Conley.
Dude, for a bargain. Only 2 first-rounders.
Jazz would fully accept that offer. They're like, oh, can we get rid of Mike Conley? You're going to get Buddy Hield for Mike Conley.
Holy.
Right,
the Jazz would just be like, you know what? I guess I'll run Donovan Moore at point. What else? Who else did you have as a winner from this format?
I could see someone. I honestly could see Celtics winning from that because I think the Celtics could play against any team in the league with how they were starting to play, with how Tatum especially was starting to figure out. Like, he was dominating against the Lakers, the Clippers, like any big name teams. He was showing up, and they were either losing by a little bit or they were winning games against those top teams. And the Celtics, I feel like they only have to play them like once or twice, play like LeBron once or twice if they're in the same group somehow. Like, they would be able to, if they could split the games with them and then just like win out on everyone else, like they would be a powerhouse. I feel like they would be because they're second tier, quote unquote, because there's like the Bucks, Lakers, Raptors,
Clips,
and then it's the second tier with the Celtics and like Celtics, Heat, and then the other side, Jazz, and another one. I'm pretty sure I can't remember the other one, but like I think that Celtics definitely would benefit from it because they have that team that you don't want to face in the playoffs at all, and I think they have the pieces if they can put it all together and make a big run.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I feel the same way. I feel like the Celtics, though, were probably the most up and down top tier team, I think. Because, like, you'd see them play very well against the Lakers, and then you see them lose to the Nets by, like, 15.
Yeah.
And then
That's the only thing.
Jaylen Brown starts the season, sorry, as, like, this, it looked like he was about to take a ginormous step as a player, and that step, after, like, the month of November was gone, and he just returned to scoring, like, 20 points.
Yeah, no, he started off hot. I mean, I still think that he could find it, but especially with this break, I don't know. Like this big break, that's also something that I don't know. Would they play regular season before the group stage or no?
I feel like they're trying to use the group stage as the like preseason, I guess, in a way. I think they're trying to really avoid playing a regular season because I think that just complicates more things, and they really don't want to. Like, they're already going to be so far behind what the normal NBA schedule would be. Like, now they're saying the draft's going to be in, like, September.
Yeah, is this going to permanently affect, like, the schedule of season for NBA, like, of all, like, from here on out, you think? Or, like...
Maybe for the better, though, if it does.
Yeah.
Because then it can give the NBA kind of the season to itself instead of, like, starting in October and automatically sharing it with NFL. I feel like no one wants to compete with NFL, so giving the NBA, like, its own time in the sun would be better.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason to not try to change the schedule.
Yeah, like, it's not really a big deal. Like, it's just a different time. Like, it's everywhere's indoor. It's not like NFL where you have to have it when it's, like, decent weather for most season because of, like, obviously they can't cancel all the games because there's too much snow or anything like that. Mm-hmm. Like, NBA, it's literally just inside it really doesn't matter what time of the season, like, year it is. But,
it has to be in mid-July because LeBron wants to play on the California beaches.
True.
God. If LeBron wanted that, the NBA would be like, let's consider it, actually. It doesn't sound too bad.
We might have to consider that.
That doesn't sound too bad. If you think about it, the possibility of heat stroke is pretty prevalent. But
LeBron wants it.
And God, he also apparently wants Kawhi. Let's do a force trade.
We have to make it happen. No questions asked. Like, it just has to happen.
The last winner I have from this format is that everyone out will keep their picks. So the teams that basically, sorry fans, this is the teams that are basically out. No matter what, the format is going to be the Bulls, the Knicks, the Pistons, the Hawks, the Cavs, the Suns, the Timberwolves, and the Warriors.
The Warriors? No way!
They're the only team statistically eliminated from the playoffs before the virus hit.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, hey, that just shows you Draymond can lead a team.
He is Charles Barkley 2.0. I've been saying that for a while. And with a wingman like Kai Bowman, whew, that team can reach some expert heights.
Yeah, some first pick potential.
Yeah, that apparently I just know the Warriors would be like, yeah, you know, we could take this young guy, or we could flip this for something better. Like,
I mean, I could see them trading. Yeah, Yeah, they're gonna get another shooter. They're gonna be like, fuck it, Clay, Curry, and CJ. Let's do it.
You could take Wiggins. We don't want him. Oh, wait, what? You don't want him either? Why did we trade for him? This is a terrible.
Fuck, who is Andrew Wiggins? I thought he was good.
They'll be like, he was Maple Jordan on a Sports Illustrated cover back in, like, 2014.
So we thought he would at least be decent.
We traded D'Angelo Russell, who was a much better player. He just didn't fit our system.
Curry needs to flourish.
He played 3 games with Curry, and we were like, you know what? That's enough sample size for me.
You're taking too many shots away from Curry.
You like how Kai Bowman's a beta. We lost Quinn Cook, but we found a diamond in the rough in Jordan Poole.
Hey, I will say someone that they did find that was actually, like, will be useful for them is Pascal.
Oh, yeah, Eric Pascal. Yeah, I honestly forgot about him. Oh, my God, he's so good. He was good. But is he the bad team's good stats guy?
That could be. we'll have to wait till next season to figure out because Warriors are definitely not playing anymore.
And the Warriors definitely will be in the playoff race again next year. And it's like
Oh,
everyone's like throwing them aside. Like the dynasty is over. The dynasty, I think, just took like a MJ playing baseball for a year.
Yeah, they kind of just were like, we're injured. You know what? Fuck it. We'll just lay down for a little bit.
Steve Kerr's like, my back doesn't hurt that much anymore.
And then guess what? Next season, they basically have the exact same team they had when they were 73-9.
You think Harrison Barnes and Wiggins are equivalents?
I mean, they're around the same player.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have Harrison Barnes, believe it or not. Even though he faded.
Sure about them.
He was terrible in that playoff series against the Cavs.
Yeah.
Jared's like, don't talk about it.
Yeah, he was pretty bad.
All right, so who does this hurt the most, this playoff format?
Who does it hurt?
I can go first if you'd like.
Yeah, you go first.
All right, so there are the teams that are absolutely atrocious on the road are going to be awful in this format, or any format that they decide for that matter, because this is all going to be on Orlando. And the Magic, I don't think, are making it far, so they're not going to get that much home court advantage, and it isn't even in Orlando's arena. It's going to be at Disney, so
yeah,
I guess. But I would consider Orlando probably is just like, oh yeah, it's basically home, and they're gonna be like, this is basically our turf. We gotta defend it. And then they win like one game. Yeah.
They're not gonna win very much. I don't think.
Eric Gordon's gonna be like, I lost the dunk contest, but I'll win this.
I'm gonna win the championship
because those are equivalents. So basically, the two teams I really want to show for this being the Heat are a terrible road team. They were 14-19, despite being 41-24. So 19 of their 24 losses are on the road. So that's going to go great for them. But the bottom of the barrel for competitive playoff teams is the Philadelphia 76ers. For those, so the 76ers have 39 wins, Jer. How many of those do you think are on the road?
I feel like I saw some on this, but it's definitely 39 wins. I'd have to go with that, probably 12, 13.
It's 10. They were 10-24 on the road, and they were 29-2 at home.
Oh my gosh!
That is the most disparaging home and away record I have ever seen of a playoff team.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wait, they were 29-2 at home.
Do you want to know another fun stat? The Knicks and the 76ers have the same amount of away wins.
Oh, gosh. All right, yeah. So, yeah, the Sixers are not making it far, if I could go off of that stat.
I mean, the 76ers basically this whole year have been like a logjam where they're like, we can't figure out how this is going to fit. We have so many non-shooters. And we have Ben Simmons, whose best ability is to disperse the ball to shooters. How is this not working out?
Who do they even have? Tobias Harris, they paid him so much money, and I don't think he's done nearly what they expected he was going to do this season.
No, and they also traded for Josh Richardson for Jimmy Butler, basically.
Yeah, and I swear they should have paid a lot more to keep Jimmy Butler than Tobias. With how Jimmy Butler has played this season, I think they 100% should have done that, but I think it's also, I don't know how Jimmy would have played with Embiid and Ben Simmons again, but...
Or is this some maniacal plan that was set by Brett Brown, that he knew that the coronavirus would hit and it would play in Orlando, so he signs the player who was formerly an Orlando Magic star in Tobias Harris?
Wait, he already had this all in his head. He's 3 steps ahead of everyone. He
is one of the best coaches in the league.
He can see the championship coming because Tobias is basically going to be at home.
Exactly. Not to mention that he's really figured out the Embiid-Simmons pairing. So.
Yeah, he's working really well with that.
Yeah, he is. He is killing it. He is looking great.
Do you think Embiid's gonna? Who do you think will leave first, Embiid or Simmons?
I think I would rather have Embiid on my team than have Simmons. I feel like I could get a player that can't shoot and can pass the ball in who we just said, Ricky Rubio.
literally. But I don't know. I think I would accept that too, or not accept that, but I would agree with that because I would rather have Embiid. Like Embiid's a very skilled big man. Like if he could just put it together and stay healthy, actually try. I think he's easily like second best in the league for centers or bigs.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Davis obviously being number one.
Do you think he's better than Jokic?
I would rather have Embiid than Jokic. When he's actually like playing, like the thing about Jokic is he just sucks on defense against other centers.
It's almost like he's completely out of shape.
That could be it too. But I think Embiid is a very well-rounded center as long as he can obviously stay healthy.
This is my message to Nikola Jokic. I am not a nutritionist, nor do I ever say I will be. But I was a kid who was trying to make it to the big leagues and wanted to be in shape. I would not drink whole bottles of Diet Coke. And I'm not talking about the ones you could buy in a vending machine. I am talking about the ones you could buy at your grocery store that are meant for like kids' parties.
The 2 liters.
I hate to break it to you. I feel like you and James Harden, Nikola, like to do this thing where you come into the season completely out of shape and just decide to burn it off like a high school bench player. But you're in the NBA, Nikola, and everyone thinks the Nuggets aren't going to go to the next level. Maybe if you were ripped, it would help you out. Just a thought.
I don't know if I could ever look at the NBA the same if Nikola Jokic was ripped. I don't know if I'd be able to look at him the same. He's just like not a player I can see that will just get jacked at any time.
I could just see him becoming like, I don't know. I always imagine Nikola Jokic with like a Borat type accent, like when he just speaks. So I could just imagine like a ripped Jokic just barreling through LeBron James style, just going like "Daw" as he's just ripping through the court. Maybe after the game, celebrate with a Coke if you really want it that bad, like the little baby bottle size.
Really, instead of champagne when you win the championship, you can have a 2-liter bottle of Coke.
Just drop the Mentos. Yeah, drop a Mentos in, do the champagne shower.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's my type of celebration right there.
Oh, God. Maybe some Mountain Dew for the gamers out there.
Oh, my gosh. They could play some 2K after. Sit down and play it again.
With Ronnie 2K for that tournament.
Oh, my gosh. I hate Ronnie 2K.
I think everyone on the planet does.
Like, he just... we're not talking about 2K on this. We're not going to get into that.
This video was brought to you by 2K.
Is it really?
Yeah, this hate of Ronnie 2K was brought to you by 2K20. This game is just as shitty as the other ones, but we'll still buy it.
Hell yeah, that's exactly how it is.
Who do you think is a loser from this?
Now hearing about the Sixers, I agree with that 100%. But I could see, like, definitely the ones you were saying too, the lower half. But I would say maybe I would definitely say like Pacers. Pacers have been like catching my eye on losers wise.
Why is
that?
Like
they're right on that line where they could be a winner for me, but they're more so towards a loser because they have that good team, but I don't know if they're good enough to go 7 games against like any of the top like 3 tiers of teams. Like, I don't think they compete against. I don't know. I don't trust them against like the Sixers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust them against the Celtics, Heat, Raptors, or Bucks. And then if they get someone on the West, I feel like I'm taking Rockets over them. I'm taking Thunder. I mean, Thunder and Pacers, I feel like are kind of close to teams, but Thunder have a better like veteran edge.
Mm-hmm.
And then like any of the top like 4 seeds in the West, I don't think they'd beat.
I think I would also take Dallas over them too.
Oh, yeah, 100% I'd take Dallas. I think Dallas is better than them. And, I mean, but like, then there's all the lower teams after that. Like, I think they're more so on the lower end of teams than the higher end. I just don't think they have that extra. They need that one extra piece to be super competitive.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably one of the teams that I would say is a loser, in my opinion. I think, personally, Nets are obviously on the lower end for me right now just because they don't have everyone. And apparently they need another star to match with KD and Kyrie.
Even though they haven't even seen how that panned out yet.
Exactly. But I don't know. Definitely Pacers for me. I just don't see them doing well in a group stage.
Yeah, I mean, also the Oladipo coming back from injury, they seem like they really didn't work that out before he came back because they were much better without him. And it's just like the growing pains of him. I'm not saying they're a worse team with Oladipo. It's obviously that they they didn't get the opportunity to like wean him back into their rotation.
Yeah, no. I think they would have been a lot better if they had given it more time. Like, if there was more time of him coming back. But it's just like he came back and then he didn't really have that many games to put under his belt before everything happened.
Yeah.
So
another thing that I also thought was that shitty Eastern Conference teams are going to really suffer in this format that basically wanted to be executed before this playoff format started. So the teams I'm basically talking about, like you said, are the Nets, the Magic, the Wizards, and the Hornets because it is a 10 from each conference format, I believe.
Yeah.
So I know the Wizards fans are thinking, thank God we get to
get to prove themselves in the playoff again. And John Wall is ready to come back.
Now everyone will see the power of Rui Hachimura.
Oh, my gosh, that man.
And the Hornets do not need any reason to be in this. They are 23-42, and they are going to be entered into a gauntlet with the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference.
Hey, all I'm saying is that you got Terry Rozier there. Honestly, better than what Kemba Walker was for
you. That is a valid point, Jeremy. Don't forget about PJ and Cody Zeller.
Oh, my gosh.
Cody Zeller, I have said for a long time, is this generation's Tim Duncan.
True. I agree. He is amazing. They have obviously have the record to show that they're all really good players. But they have Devontae Graham too. If you want to throw him in there. He's probably their best player, to be honest.
I think I like PJ Washington better.
Yeah.
It's hard to decide. There's so many good players that I just don't want to bury one of them.
So many players that I would definitely never have on my team, but
very happy they have them, if that makes sense. I'm very happy the Hornets have the players they have.
It's like almost like they're the Bobcats again. Like they're just a dump of terrible players that no one would ever take.
Except for The Last Dance. Michael Jordan.
True. Michael Jordan wants him.
All right.
For some reason, he decided Charlotte.
Have you seen that court, Buzz?
The court is pretty nice.
All right, so if the season ended, we're just going to say the regular season's over, Jeremy. So just pretend like coronavirus hasn't happened and ruined our past 2 months.
Okay.
Who was your MVP?
See, I was thinking about it, and I think I still just have to go with it. And for me, it was between obviously Giannis and then LeBron. But I went with LeBron.
I did as well.
Because I think it's just, if you watched some of the Lakers games, and especially when they were going against really good teams, he showed up and he was playing it's LeBron. Obviously, we expect him to play a really high level, but he was out to prove more that he's still the best in the league. He was playing really well, and he was playing at any position really too. He was guarding the best player again. He was doing everything that you would want, but in his numbers, he was averaging 26, 8, and almost 11 assists per game.
League leading.
Yeah, he's a small forward leading the league in assists. Arguably this year's not as big of a competition pool, I guess, for assists. I wouldn't say. Most seasons, some seasons there's multiple over 10, but this season, is a little bit less. But there's still a lot of players who are, and it's in this sort of time frame that we've been in for the past few years. It's a very stat-driven league that everyone's trying to go for those stats, thanks to Russell Westbrook, I'm pretty sure. But I just take LeBron. I just can't see, especially if it was somehow we fast forwarded the past 2 months and they played out the games. I only think the Lakers would have gotten better. They were just going, LeBron and AD were just meshing very well together. that whole team was starting to just catch a fire. And I mean, the Bucks are. I mean, yeah, Giannis is Giannis. I mean, but I feel like they just want to switch. I feel like they would switch it up a little bit. I don't know if they would give him 2 years in a row.
Yeah, my argument for why I picked LeBron is that he, despite being in his 17th season, playing harder competition, being in the West, and changing, basically, he is the starting point guard for the Lakers this year. He's been under the point guard spot on the starting lineup for a majority of the season. The Lakers had the 6th toughest strength of schedule this season before the season stopped. The Bucks ranked 28th in difficulty in the season. We all know that the Western Conference is much tougher than the Eastern Conference as a whole.
Even more now.
Yeah,
than before.
Like you said, LeBron was averaging the 26, almost 26, 11, and 8.
Yeah.
But also, post All-Star break, he was averaging close to 31, 8, and 9 on a 57% field goal percentage. When Lakers have LeBron off the floor, he has a rating of they have a negative 2.6 rating, but when Giannis is off the floor, the Bucks have a positive 6 rating. This implies that LeBron carries a much weaker team than Giannis does.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like when you compare the lineups, the Bucks have better players in every position. So LeBron versus Bledsoe, you'll take LeBron.
Yep.
I think Avery Bradley and Wesley Matthews are equivalent.
Yeah, I would say so, yeah. I mean, you could also, unless you're, is Danny Green your small forward is what you're putting him at?
Yeah, I looked up online what who played the most minutes per, in the season and what position to, figure it out. And Middleton and Danny Green, you would take Middleton.
Yep.
I think Giannis and Anthony Davis are basically equal.
I don't know who I'd pick between those two. I don't know if I'd be able to choose between those two. I think both of them are.
I feel like picking one over the other is just saying there's a drastic difference, and I think they're both the two of the best future player stars we're gonna have in the league, like the faces of the NBA.
They're like the KD, LeBron sort of. They're gonna take those two spots. They're just gonna move up, and those are gonna be the two players.
Mm-hmm. And I like Brook Lopez more than I like JaVale McGee.
I mean, yeah, Brook has been. I don't know. Brook has just found his spot with the Bucks.
Once he realized a center could shoot, it changed everything.
Literally, he's a sharpshooter now.
Yeah, he's one of the best 3-point shooters in the league as a center. Yes. But yet you can't stop PJ Tucker. So also the rotation players, I was kind of so when I created this argument, I originally thought that I would see a vast difference in the rotation players. That I only counted the valuable ones for each team.
Yeah.
But I feel like you tell me, and then I'll give you my opinion. So the Bucks valuable rotation players I have is George Hill, Robin Lopez, DiVincenzo, Connaughton, Ilyasova, and Korver. And the valuable rotation players for the Lakers are Kuzma, Rondo, Markieff Morris, KCP, Howard, and Caruso. Remove GOAT status from Caruso. Which one?
All I'm saying is if you have Caruso, I think you win regardless. He should be starting.
That's one of the
over
coolest
LeBron.
takes.
But no, I just listen, hearing from those two. I think about it, and I'm I always think that the Bucks have the better, it sounds like a better team for the Lakers, to be honest. When you hear the names said, everyone knows those names, and they should be, Dwight is playing arguably one of his better seasons recently.
It's probably his best season since he was in L.A., I guess, or Houston.
Yeah, Kuzma has had a very, very non-expected season. He is not doing well.
But he's gone through 4 haircuts.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would take just how they chemistry-wise, knowing and watching the games and seeing how they play. The Bucks team is still just a better rotational team. I don't know. How they play, they're just a very chemistry-built team. Mm-hmm. And the Lakers are kind of just they signed a lot of players. They were just like, we need them, and we want you guys.
They did what? So I think the argument that could be made is that the Bucks rotation players can mostly create their own shot.
Mm-hmm.
Like Korver, DiVincenzo, Connaughton, Ilyasova. Okay, Ilyasova not so much. The guy can barely move. And George Hill can like all create their own shot off the dribble. But when you look at players like Markieff Morris, KCP, and like I can't even remember the last time I saw Kuzma take someone in ISO and actually do something impressive.
Yeah, no, I can't.
They're all just like LeBron's pawns, like what we've seen since Miami, where all right, you're really good. You'll stand in the corner and I'll get it to you. Just do it. Just need to stand there.
Yep. That's literally all they are. That's how LeBron's teams have always been.
Yeah, so
it's always just built around what he can facilitate to.
So, like, you could argue that the rotation players for the Lakers are better if you want to. My counter would be, are they good by themselves, or do they look better because of the way LeBron makes them look?
That's true. Yeah, no, I still would take, I think, I don't know. I personally, I like all the players more just on the Lakers because I know the players, and, like, I've always liked Dwight Howard and those types, like, Kuzma I've liked, but I don't know. The Bucks with how they play, I still would take the Bucks rotation, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And then when I looked it up, there was this website that ranked what they gave a rating for how they perform in their given role. And a lot of the Lakers players didn't perform too low, but they didn't also perform very high, except for Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard ranked the highest among the bench players in terms of production. But a lot of the Bucks players ranked very highly in terms of their role.
Definitely. That's a tough question, too, between the two bench. Like, that's hard to decide. That's a hard one.
To close out the podcast, we're going to be discussing our NBA, like, first team, second team, third team. And then we did our own thing where we're doing our most improved team. Because everyone always gets there, you only get one player that wins most improved player. But I feel like this should be a team type thing, you know? Like
I 100% agree with that.
Because they're going to give a lot of attention to like the Lukas and the Siakams of the world, who like they're the star. So of course you're going to give them. But there's other players who had great seasons that shouldn't just get buried behind Luka. Obviously going to walk away with the award.
Yeah, no. So question for you, real quick before we get into this. Who did you pick for your rookie of the year?
I think it's Ja.
Oh, yeah. I went with Ja, too. I think Zion would have taken it if he had gotten to play more of the season.
I thought it was going to be really.
Zion was playing out of his mind. Like, he was playing what people expected and, like, wanted him to play. Like, he was averaging almost 24 points. He was, and what kind of, like, was crazy to me, he was shooting. I mean, yes, he shoots a lot in the paint, but he was shooting like 60% field goal percentage.
Yeah, I
like,
mean, he was disgusting
very efficient
and all fast. Everyone's like, "Well, watch out for that 3-pointer." Do we forget like the game he came in and he shot them back into the game?
Yes, first game he ever played, and he shot like he made like 3 or 4 threes in a row.
That was a great bar game.
Then they're like, you know what? You're making us come back. Sit on the bench, you know. We don't want you in the game anymore.
They're like, Zion, we're trying to not make the playoffs. Get over here. It's a minutes restriction, they say with air quotes.
Yeah.
That was a great bar game. That's like a game where it's like, where were you? And you're like, I was at the bar.
Yeah,
Scorps, for those who don't know. In Durham, New Hampshire, the hot spot of the Northeast.
Of course, the best bar you could ever find around here.
If you can get in.
Yeah, if you don't sit there for 2 hours before, then you're good. But
you're going to have a great time. All right, Jared, why don't you start us off with your give us your NBA first team, and then I'll tell you what I have.
All right, so for my first team, I feel like it's very, like, I feel this first team just has it, like, very specific people. Like, it's going to be my guards. My 2 guards are Luka and Harden.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's Giannis, LeBron, and then Anthony Davis. Like, I feel like those 5 slots are just so hard to it's so controversial. Like, you can't really, like, put anyone else there.
Yeah, imagine if you did.
What did you put?
Okay, so the only reason my list is the way it is I decided that if I feel like I did it from the perspective that the NBA is going to consider LeBron playing point guard this season, considering that's what the Lakers lineup has him being. So
then yeah, that would have switched my. I think I would have done.
I'll tell you who
LeBron
I have.
over Luka.
I have LeBron, Harden, Davis, Giannis, and Jokic are my 5.
So you put Davis as a forward instead of a center?
Yeah, because JaVale plays center for the Lakers, but I know it because he doesn't play the whole game, so I know what you mean. But why you put?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, ours were just a little different. If it was if I put AD at forward, I would have done Jokic. But yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah, I feel like there was gonna be no disagreements on this first team. The second team and third team is where I'm expecting a little.
I think third team is where it's kind of switched. Second team is kind of also. I mean, I'll go first for second team.
All right.
I have Dame, CP3, Kawhi, Tatum, and Jokic.
All right. I have Doncic, Lillard as the guards, and then I have Kawhi and Siakam as my forwards, and I have Embiid as my center.
Yeah, it bumped it. Who would you have? Well, we'll figure out what your third team for guard. But yeah, your Luka got pushed down because of LeBron and stuff, and Jokic got pushed up. So I mean, it was somewhere around the same.
Why did you? I wanted to know because I guess our difference here is Siakam and Tatum. So I guess I need to hear your third team before I ask any questions.
Well, yeah. All right. I'll go. So I'll say for my guards. For third team, I did Jimmy Butler and Bradley Beal. Is Jimmy under a guard or is he a forward?
I think he's a forward.
Oh, so I messed that one up. But I put him as a guard thinking he's a shooting guard. But I don't know. If it wasn't Jimmy Butler there, it would have been Russell Westbrook for me. But then there's Middleton, Siakam, and then Rudy Gobert.
Okay. I have Russell Westbrook and Chris Paul as my guards. I have Middleton and Tatum as my small forwards, and I have Andre Drummond as my center.
Drummond, hey, the Cleveland.
Okay, that is not why I picked it. Honestly,
no.
I think this is where the center being in the all-team thing. I think it should just be positionless at this point.
Yeah,
because I don't think Drummond or Gobert belong on this list.
No,
but
I think it was Gobert or Embiid, but I just think Embiid hasn't really played. I don't know. He's been in and out. I feel like right this season. I'm pretty sure this season. I can't even remember. I thought he was didn't he get injured at one point? And was out for a little bit.
Yeah, I honestly picked Drummond because he's doing what he always does, and he somehow always will end up on some rendition of this list. And
yeah.
I'm like he's leading the league in rebounds, so I guess if we're qualifying him that you have to have a center, I'll take Drummond. I'm not saying my argument for why I didn't include certain players is that I value these as being they have to be making good impacts to their team, so that's why I made an honorable mentions, which for me was Beal, Booker, Young, Towns, Butler, Mitchell, Gobert, and Vucevic. And the thing that all those players basically have in common outside of Butler, Mitchell, and Gobert is that their teams suck.
Yes. Yep. No. Yeah. I was also valuing that. That's why I put CP3 on the second team because of how the Thunder actually have done this season and the impact he's had.
Yeah, that's why I picked Paul too.
But I put Bradley Beal third team just because he's the only good player on that Wizards team. Literally only good player, and he's the only reason they win games. He always performs. He's averaging the only other player in the league to average 30 right now. And if you watch, if he plays against, even against the really good teams, he shows up and he will torch the other team. And it's just, he's doing it with just him being the only player they
Thomas?
have to guard. IT, you're right. Shit. IT's there somehow.
He was gone now.
Well, yeah, he was there. He bounced between 6 teams in the past 6 months.
What a fun ride.
Yeah, he was so good on the Celtics.
So why'd you pick Tatum over Siakam, I guess is my question.
I mean, I just think. I mean, they're right below. Like their records aren't too far away from each other. Only 3 games, back, but and their stats are really similar too. Tatum and Siakam stats are like almost identical. I don't know. I think Siakam for me, I didn't expect more of him. Obviously, he's playing amazing. Siakam's an amazing player, but Tatum is just he more so just shot up this season as like everyone's like last season after his first like rookie year of playing in the playoffs and showing that he was like a really good player, especially like that whole playoff run they had. The last season he didn't play to what everyone thought he was going to. And then this season he's shown up as like I mean, yeah, they have Kemba, but he's like the star, I would say, of the Celtics. Like, he's the man that will like take the last shot, everything. And he's the past like the second half of the season that we got to watch before the coronavirus stuff. I think Tatum was starting to like he was going to hit a stride where he was going to even get better and probably maybe not average more points, but he would translate to more wins. So it's just more of like I feel like a Siakam Tatum thing was more so like a preference of player wise who you'd rather have, and I'm a Tatum person.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm a big Tatum fan, and I think he has so much potential to keep growing, and so does Siakam. But I just took Tatum second team. I couldn't pick Siakam over Tatum for me.
But they're both great, in the words of Jeremy Batten.
They're both amazing. I'll say it again, but I don't know. Tatum's my boy.
Yeah, I felt Siakam deserved it more in the sense that I think he carries more on his shoulders than Tatum does. I did put the record into account, but I also put the team around him as like so when you look at Tatum, he still has Kemba Walker, he still has Jaylen Brown as his 1-2.
He has that team from last season. Like he still does have the team from last season.
He has Enes Kanter.
Yes, he does have Enes Kanter too, who's a monster.
Who apparently has the most massive cheat days of anyone on the planet. For those who don't know, if you like go on Twitter and look up Enes Kanter, he'll post it all the time, be like, "Oh boy, here's my massive cheat day." And then if you look at Siakam, you have Kyle Lowry, it's like Kyle Lowry's still a very solid NBA player, but last season was definitely his apex.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go past that.
Are we going to argue that Fred VanVleet is the third best player? Because Marc Gasol is no longer Marc Gasol.
No, he ain't the Marc Gasol he was when he was on the Grizzlies. But I will say Fred VanVleet, I think so. He's one of those. I forgot about him, to be honest, when thinking about the improved players too. But he's definitely, I think, the third best player on that team. I don't see putting anyone past him.
Yeah, so that's why I decided to put Siakam over Tatum. I think Siakam carries a much bigger load. And I also wait, did you have Lillard on your list?
Yeah, I had Dame in second team.
Oh, you had Paul and Lillard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Paul third because I put the Doncic LeBron thing.
Yeah, that whole thing at the beginning. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably would have been the same way. I would have kept Dame over CP3, 100%. I think Dame is so he's not underrated. I wouldn't say for most people, but I swear he is one of the most. He's not really considered one of the top. He hasn't really been in the top point guard conversation when people think about it. They're thinking Curry, Kyrie. They're thinking those two players and Russell Westbrook. Most people would put over him, but I think Dame's
past Kyrie at this point.
I think he is. I'd rather have Dame than Kyrie.
I'd rather have Dame than Russell Westbrook too.
Oh, 100%. I love Russ. Still love Russ, but I think Dame's just a lot more of a team type player you'd want on any team. Russ kind of fits into a few teams.
All right, Jer. We're gonna go into finish it off with the most improved team. So I feel like you and me are honestly going to share 3 of the same players. I'm excited to see who the rest are. So I know we've been doing the guard, forward, center. I ditched it for this because I couldn't find a single center that I really felt deserved to be on this team over other players.
Okay, I I feel like I disagree a tiny bit, but
All
I
right.
found one center obviously that I thought made it.
All right. Do you want me to go first this time?
Sure.
All right. My guards are Luka Doncic, which no one.
Yep.
Okay. I'm saying this while expecting complete judgment. I'm expecting a huge laugh on your side. I have picked Colin Sexton.
Oh my god! Of course you picked him. I was trying to think of all the players while you were saying that. I don't know why I didn't think of Colin Sexton there. Okay.
Accompanied by his peers, Brandon Ingram, Bam Adebayo, and Jason Tatum are my 3 forwards.
Oh, so Bam is considered a center.
Bam's a power forward, it says.
Oh, really? So yeah, that was the center I was thinking of, but I guess I'm completely wrong. And I completely ditch the center, and I'll put Bam there. That's where I put Bam.
I'll defend Colin Sexton after I hear your list.
Well, then we share 4 because I put Luka, Ingram, Tatum, Bam, but the other guard I put was, of course, we went from our own teams. I went Shai Gilgeous.
Damn it! I was really hoping you were gonna say Devontae Graham. I built up this whole argument why it isn't Devontae Graham, so I'll just pretend for a minute.
I was looking at him. And watching and just seeing the record on the Hornets is just like there's no. I don't know. I'm not a big.
Well, ignore that for my argument.
All right, perfect. I avoided that. I don't think Devontae Graham deserves to be on the team over other players.
We're just gonna have some editing magic and make it pretend like you said Devontae Graham.
Right,
Jeremy,
whatever.
you idiot! This is why it's not Devontae Graham. It's Colin Sexton. Okay.
So why'd you do Colin Sexton over? I mean, I didn't do Devontae Graham, but like Shai Gilgeous.
If we're talking about terms, I think Shai is very good. I think he has a much higher ceiling than Colin Sexton does. I think Colin Sexton has the ability to be like a very solid starting point guard for a team. I think Shai has all-star potential, but I don't think Shai showed all-star potential this season.
Okay, it's true. I don't think he showed. I didn't think he showed full. Like I don't think he should have been obviously all-star.
I think if you look at Colin Sexton shooting wise, does have much better stats than Shai does.
Okay.
Colin Sexton scored 20.8 points per game this season, which ranked 22nd in the entire league.
Okay.
He went up 44% on his field goal percentage to 46.2, which for a guard to shoot 46.2 on the entire season is very impressive.
That is pretty impressive.
He also went down on his attempts, so he's becoming a much more efficient shooter with less shots.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look up how Sexton was doing before the season ended, he was scoring towards like 30 a game. He was, I think there was like this huge meme that went around Twitter that was like most points per game post All-Star break before the virus ended, and Colin Sexton was like third. So, but Jared, you picked Devontae Graham. 3-point shooter, he went from 40.2% to like 38.
Okay.
But if I'm just gonna pretend once again that you said Devontae Graham, and Devontae Graham shot 38.2% from the field total, and that shows that it's all volume for his points and not substance.
Yeah, no,
so
also, for my argument for Shai is he went from last season and he was on the Clippers, which I mean I feel like he probably had like equal amount of opportunity on both the teams he was on then and now. Because the Clippers last season, I mean, they had a lot. I mean, I guess Lou Will kind of took like a lot more shots than Shai was able to. And I mean, Shai was averaging like almost 11 points, 3 rebounds, and like 3.3 assists. But then turn to this season with the Thunder, he was averaging 19.3, 6.1 rebounds, and same amount of assists, while shooting 48% from the field and 35 from three-pointer. So it's not too much worse of shooting from Colin Sexton. Obviously, a little bit less points. But then you also have to look at the translation of how the Thunder are doing. And yes, they're a way better team than the Cavs are. Sorry. but I would just I just don't know. I picked Shy. I didn't even look. I didn't think about Colin Sexton.
I don't know why you couldn't. As I'm crying.
I'm very sorry, but yeah, no. That was like my. I guess that was our only difference at all. Like, I mean, the other four were pretty easy. I feel like to pick.
I had Shy as my first honorable mention. If that makes you feel any better.
Hey, thank you. I didn't make an honorable mention one, but I'll put Colin Sexton as my number one.
Oh, by the way, we have completely not spoke about Trae Young once in this podcast.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think he needs to actually have a good season when they're actually doing good. I feel like it's a Devin Booker sort of thing.
Here's my thing with Trae Young. You can tell me where I'm wrong. I kind of forgot that I wanted to talk about Trae Young because I think Trae Young is one of the most overhyped players in the entire league in terms of like people thinking he's like the next Steph Curry.
No, I don't think that, but I think he's good.
I came up with are you familiar with Colin Cowherd and how he makes really dumb analogies?
Yes.
I'm ready to make up my own Colin Cowherd-esque analogy for what, like, because there are people who say, like, you know, ESPN's like he's on a Curry-esque trajectory.
Yeah, no, yeah, I've seen those things.
I think this is the comparison is that Trae Young is like TikTok and Steph Curry is like Vine, and we really missed, like, our generation loved Vine like more than anything. We thought it was like the absolute shit. We loved laughing. We still follow the Viners who don't even do TikTok anymore, like Nick Coletti.
Yep.
But
I follow some. Yep.
So we now have TikTok, and everyone loves TikTok. Apparently, they're like, "Oh, who needs Vine? We got TikTok. It's so much worse." I don't think it's at all better, and I think it's just nostalgia and like a wanting to be a part of something that you missed out on, because like there's this generation of kids who like who didn't have Vine. They're like, oh, TikTok's so much better, and it's like, oh
yeah, no, I like that analogy. I think that's actually like exactly what it is, because people are like, yeah, the younger generation obviously have seen Curry, but they weren't like able to fully watch what like Curry do what he was doing when it was happening. Like watching it when I was watching it was crazy. Like he changed the way the game was played just because of how good of a shooter he was. Now everyone can, like, Dame can shoot from that far. Everyone's adjusted to that. But then there's Trae Young that now that he's getting those comparisons, yeah, all these TikTokers, if you want to put them in that category, they are getting like the knockoff version of Vine.
I feel like Steph Curry also is a very good basketball player. Trae Young is a revolving door on defense. He is one of the worst defenders in the entire league, if not the worst. I didn't do the research to look up like his net rating defensively. I would be shocked with the minutes that he plays if we did it based off minutes, if he is not in the bottom 3.
No, I wouldn't doubt it. He's like, everyone shitted on Steph Curry for how bad he is on defense, but Trae Young is way worse than Curry is on defense, and that's saying a lot.
And the most that Trae is known for is either his limitless range, okay, and or his ability to nutmeg people, which gets him almost getting beat up by every player who's over 30.
Trevor Ariza is gonna kill him one of these times.
When is the last time you thought of Trevor Ariza was gonna beat up someone?
But because Trae Young, time right there.
Because Trae Young could qualify to like just ride a roller coaster, we're gonna let him just like get away with it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think I just don't. I need to see him do something when they're actually a good team.
But the Bucks, like, the Hawks were supposed to make the playoffs this year, if you remember.
Well, yeah, they were supposed to.
Then John Collins ruined it by doing PEDs. Because it's all John Collins' fault.
Potential. I still think they have the potential soon, because now they have Clint Capella too.
Another center that really helps against PJ Tucker.
The Clint, John Collins, Trae Young. They have Herter. They have
Red Velvet.
Yeah, they have good players. They're not apparently good enough to be a good team.
I would rather have Van Fleet in my most improved than have Trae Young. I'd rather have
I
Jaylen
won't put
Brown
most
in my
improved.
most improved than have Trae Young.
The only time I thought about putting him anywhere was in like the third team, but I couldn't put him over Beal just because he made the All-Star game. Like I can't just. I think Beal deserves the All-Star over Trae Young.
I think the NBA All-Star game is the most throwaway accolade a player can have.
Yeah.
Because one, you're telling me right now that if it was both conferences combined, that Damian Lillard wouldn't have made it like forever ago.
Literally.
I think did Damian Lillard make it this year? He made it, right?
Yeah, he was did he start? I don't think he started.
Yeah, that was the new thing with him.
It was Luka, James Harden, who came from the West for starters, for guards.
Okay. All right.
So Dame was that. Yeah, Dame was like the next one. He was third because I remember he was close. I think he deserves to get a start eventually. I think he's that type of player, but no, it wasn't Luke. Not was it Luka? Yeah, Luka and Harden. Those were the top two.
Yeah.
I can't think of it, but I going off a little thing about the All-Star. I think that I don't know about you, but I thought the All-Star format they did this year was way better than the past few years.
So much better.
The competition at the end of the game, and the whole game actually, was way better than we've ever seen, and like not ever, but like since it's been like a long time since we've seen that type of like people, like the amount of exercise, like not exercise, but I can't think of the word, like just the amount of effort, I guess, that someone like the players were putting into the game.
Yeah,
like they actually were taking it seriously. They were arguing calls. Like everything was. It felt like an actual game, like, and it meant something. And I hope it's not just because of the whole Kobe thing.
I was going to say, all we need is like an NBA tragedy every year in order for players to apparently care.
I hope it's not because of that. I hope it keeps up the level, like if we keep that same format, which I think they will. I think it got really good reviews, like in really good ratings and stuff like that. But I just hope they keep it, and it keeps the same level of intensity just because of how good it, like how nice it was to watch. And we didn't even have like Kevin Durant this year, who would have even made it probably better because there's more competition.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I hope they keep it, but we'll see.
Yeah, me too. All right, Jeremy, this has been great, and we'll have you back on once the NBA actually returns in some capacity for us to have something else to talk about.
I got nothing right now. I think we got through most of the topics that we had.
Yeah, we did. All right, Jer. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Yes, sir.
All right, and thank you again to Jeremy Batten for coming on the podcast, talking all things NBA. God, the NBA needs to come back soon. I mean, don't get me wrong, Bundesliga soccer, for as many jokes as I can make in a few podcasts, is starting to get. I need sports I actually enjoy. I think we all do too. Please like and subscribe to the podcast, and if you're on YouTube, find us on Spotify and iTunes. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you Friday.